So you are able to see the keyboard, right? Not white code.
Yes, sir.
So now anyway to start with this, so if you remember, the previous class, we have closed our lateral torsional buckling almost, we have discussed so many things, okay. So if you want in more detail, there are, textbooks are there, okay. So several interesting problems you can see, okay. So now we have moved to this arches, okay. That is essentially, the buckling of arches. So now, as already I told you, there are generally if you see the literature, say two types of things are there. One is you followed it, circular, the arches, and of course the curvilinear. We have the separate also. So now in the circular arches, so the simplest of all the things is this Bosnick's equation. Okay. So this the Bosnick's the equation. So this is the most the simplest of all the arch kind of a thing. So this is nothing but extension of your Euler-Bernoulli. So this also we discussed in our last class. Okay. So whatever beam theory we studied, right? So the same thing is valid here. Okay. So only thing is now it is a curved beam instead of a straight beam itself. And I think we have written our equation of the equilibrium also in the last class. Okay. So I think something we wrote as d square. Suppose did we say so by d phi square plus v is equal to some mr square by say ei kind of thing. Okay. So where v is your radial displacement. Okay. So some textbooks are sometimes we use a W for representation. You can use whatever this itself. Okay. So M is anyway the bending moment which we have. Okay. And R is our radius of curvature. So this is our the most simplest equation which you can write for a circular arch. But generally you follow it. We don't have like circular arches, parabolic or some other complicated shapes are there. Say, then the things becomes very difficult actually. Okay, the differential equations become slightly complex. So that also anyway we will see. We will just briefly we will see those things also in this course. Okay. So now last class we had have done some problems like something like this. I think we solved, right? So if it is a concentrated load, so like I think we already followed it. Some pure bending kind of a thing we have seen. So if it is like a cantilever kind of a thing, so now if the cantilever is curved, say like arch kind of a thing, what happens and others we have seen in our last class. Okay. So now let us see buckling. Of course, here it is very easy. So now generally in arches, what happens is you see two types of buckling modes we have. So if you have any arch like this, say, okay. So let us say both the ends are simply supported, or even it can be fixed. So here what happens is, of course, if you solve a detailed analysis, you can get all the buckling modes and other things also. So to make the things simple, say two types of buckling modes we have: symmetric, the buckling mode we say. Okay, so symmetric form. Then other one is anti-symmetric. Okay. So two types of the buckling modes. You see, they are widely the arch buckles in these two types of patterns. So this symmetrical mode, say, so symmetrical mode will be more or less you say like this. Okay. So both the sides you follow it like this you will be having. So this is what we call as you say symmetric kind of buckling itself. So suppose if you take this as A, B, and the crown, C is the crown, say that is the topmost point of here. So here so deflection, say at this crown is not equal to 0, but whereas your rotation, so this phi c, so this is equal to 0 kind of a thing. Okay, so this is what we call as you say symmetric form of the symmetric buckling mode. Now the unsymmetric mode, say anti-symmetric thing, it will be something like this. Okay, so this is something you followed, right? So this point, say, so the buckling mode you see it will be like this. Okay, so this is what we call as this anti-symmetric mode. So like frames also, we have seen some this one. So now if you take this point C, that is the crown. Okay, so for if it is anti-symmetric mode, what happens, deflection is 0, whereas your rotation, say, so this is not equal to 0. So this is what it happens generally, and of course you can have variety of shapes can possible, but generally, we want to compute the lowest load, say. Okay, so generally these two things will be there. And in the arches, say, most of the cases, one can we can do mathematically also, but without doing this itself, you followed right now, so when they are subjected to radial loads, essentially. Okay, so when they are subjected to, now can you guess which will be the lowest, symmetric or anti-symmetric? Which mode will give you the lowest buckling mode? Okay, now buckling load. So anti-symmetric or symmetric?
Symmetric.
Among these, symmetric, see here, see now how many inflection points or something you are having, say. You can see the shape of the arch is a complicated kind of a shape you have, whereas anti-symmetric mode, say, you have only, you followed right this type of a shape you have. But generally, of course, you can do mathematically also, you can find out. So generally it is not the symmetric case, this anti-symmetric case, so this will give the lowest load. We can calculate mathematically also. Okay, so you can try with our equations itself, the lowest, the buckling mode. Okay, so this generally happens, for the anti-symmetric case. So generally in arches, say, so this is what is anti-symmetric mode, kind of this type of buckling modes, people see like how the arches fail also. You can see these type of the failure modes, say, most of them will be, anti-symmetric kind of thing. Okay,
Sir, is this
of
the
course.
case only for radial loads?
Of course, it depends on the type of the loading also. See, like suppose you have only, a load like this, if it is not uniform, if it is something, it varies. But most of the cases, anti-symmetric thing is the one which gives the lowest loads. It depends, of course, as you know, it depends problem to problem itself. Okay. But most of the cases, anti-symmetric only, works out to be the lowest case. Is it fine?
Okay, sir.
No. So now let us try to calculate. Okay. So now so this is our Bosnick's equation. Okay. Dou phi square or dou theta. Okay. So this is minus mr square by ei. Now I think last class I already told you when r becomes infinity, say, okay, which means your curve becomes like a straight line. So this collapses to your beam equation. Okay, Euler-Bernoulli. So this automatically comes into picture. Okay, so when r is becomes infinity kind of a thing. So this also we are seeing. So now let us see this two hinge arch. Okay, so the two hinge arch is, let us see. So now what happens? So now so you are having an arch like this. Okay, so this is our one support is here, one hinge, another hinge is here. So it is not perfect, the semicircular kind of a thing. So so if you assume to be like this, say. Okay, so the central angle. Okay, so this half is alpha. So the total central angles is 2 times alpha. We are doing it more general. Suppose if it is a perfect semicircular arch, say, so central angle will be phi itself. Okay, so now and it is subjected to radial load. Okay, so this is subjected to this type of load, and let us say this load is some q. Okay, so now we want to find out, you see, the buckling load or this QCR, say. What is this QCR? How which makes this arch you followed, right, to get collapse or something like that. So this is what we are interested here. So now as similar how we are solving the column problem, say. So now to find out, so now if you take this anti-symmetric, say, okay, assume that it is anti-symmetric mode, it is going to fail. Okay, so now you take, and so which means, you see, so the arch you followed it, so the buckling mode shape will be something like this. Okay, so this is our buckling modes. So C is our crown. Okay, so where this is the one. So now if you take any section here, okay, so let us say this displacement is V times phi, that is at which is at an angle of so phi we take from this side. Okay, so this is our tangent, that radial displacement is v, say, and the central angle is alpha. So if you take any cross section, say, okay, so which is subjected to this one, so now we can find out. So generally in the arches, say, so now what will be the bending moment at this section 5? Yeah. So this bending moment, say, at any section, yeah, at an angle of 5. Okay, from our this side, say. So now generally in arches, okay, what type of load, internal forces will be there in arches? See, in arch, what type of although the load is radial, but how arch resists, you would have studied, right, in analysis. Arch action you would have studied, right? So what type of forces will be there in the arch, whatever may be the load. So you all know that it will be subjected to, you followed, right, the only axial forces will be acting. Okay, so which anyway all of this arch action or something like that. Okay, so generally you followed, right, you can find out that this axial force in the arch, say, okay, so this is some q times, you see, your r itself. So this is our axial force in the r. So bending moment, if you try to find out at any section, okay, because of this uniform, this radial q, so this becomes m is equal to, you see, n times v is your the radial displacement here. So this becomes qr times, you see, the v. So this is a bending moment at any section, you can write in terms of qrv. Okay, so generally, as already I told you, in the arches you have only the axial forces, and because both the ends are hinged, so there is no movements here. So only thing is you have this axial force. So now let us write our equation. So d square v by d phi square plus v. So substitute in that expression, say, so q v times r q by ei. Okay, or we can also write this expression as d square v by d phi square plus n square into v is equal to 0. So where our n square, say, is equal to 1 plus so q r q by ei. Okay, so this is our expression for this hinged arch for under uniformly radial loading itself. So now this is a second order the ODE, all of the solution itself. So a sine kx plus b cos kx we used to write, but now here instead of x we are having this phi itself. So the solution can be written as so a cos n phi, say, plus b sine n phi. Okay, so this is our solution. So now you are having this two constants are there, a and b. These you have to find out from the boundary conditions. So now so we use our boundary condition, that is when phi is equal to 0. So at phi is equal to 0 means essentially at the support itself. Okay, sorry, the support itself. So now at the support, what is the boundary condition we are having here? So the radial displacement has to be the 0 itself. So we take the radial displacement. So this is basically is equal to 0. Okay, at phi is equal to 0. So if you substitute in this equation, so which automatically turns out, so a becomes a 0 kind of a thing. Now other boundary condition, because here we are not interested to find out a and b, we want to find out the buckling load here. So now suppose if it is anti-symmetrical mode, say, okay. So if it is the anti-symmetrical mode, now what we can do here is, if it is anti-symmetrical mode, now what will be the deflection at C crown? See, what will be the deflection at C? Just now we wrote, right? So if it is anti-symmetrical mode, say, so at C, what is the boundary condition here?
Deflection is 0.
That means V is equal to 0. Now here, suppose if you assume it is a symmetric mode, say, what is the boundary condition you have to use?
Phi is 0.
That is the angle, that is you followed it, the slope or something is that is becoming 0, so that you have to use it. Now since we are using, assuming it to be anti-symmetrical mode, say, so now we can use this case itself. So which means at phi is equal to alpha. Okay, so your v is 0. So this is also another condition. So if you substitute, so what happens is, you see, so b sine n times alpha is equal to 0. Anyway, b is equal to 0 is a trivial solution. So for non-trivial, say, okay, so for non-trivial case, so sine alpha, n alpha is equal to 0. So your roots becomes pi, 2 pi, like that. Several roots comes into picture, k times pi. So now so if you take n as, you see, pi by alpha as the lowest root. So now if you substitute, so you get, so QCR, say the minimum, the buckling load. So this becomes, n square minus 1. So you have, EI by R cube. So this means you see pi square by alpha square minus 1. Okay. So EI by R cube. Okay. So this is our minimum buckling load. Or if you want to find out the axial force, say, okay, in the arch. So which is, NCR, the minimum. So this becomes a QCR minimum multiplied by R. Okay. So this becomes, pi square by, you see, alpha square minus 1. So EI by R square. Okay, so this is the buckling load. Now, as some of you asked, right? So whether symmetric mode or unsymmetric mode, say. Now same problem, say. Okay, now assuming it to be a symmetric mode, use the other boundary condition, and then you can once again solve the problem itself. So if you try to solve this problem, for symmetric and unsymmetric mode, say. So you have to change this boundary condition here. Then you follow it. You can see that you see that the symmetric mode will give you see the higher values. Now the lowest value here is pi by alpha here. But if you take symmetric mode, say, so this gets slightly higher. That's why we can verify like asymmetric or anti-symmetric mode itself. So you can try. So you please try for the symmetric mode. What is the buckling loads? Okay, so you can just try itself. So now here, suppose if it is a semicircular arch, say, now what is the value?
Sir, the phi defined there, it is the derivative of the V, which
Yes, yes,
the
it is a
radial displacement.
derivative. Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. Okay, so now you have to do that and you have to find out. Okay. So now suppose so in this problem, suppose if it is a this semicircular arch, what will be your QCR? So if it is a semicircular arc, what will be QCR? So what will be your which quantity changes? The central angle actual. So now if it is semicircular, what will be your alpha? See alpha we have taken here as something like this. So if it is a perfect semicircle, say now what will be alpha? So if it is 90 degree itself, okay. So you can now, so alpha is equal to pi by 2. So you just substitute here. So for semicircular arch, so the buckling is E3 EI by R cube actually. Okay. So this is a very very famous formula you followed it for buckling of arches. Of course, this we have derived for arch, but where it is really used, where do you see these type of uniformly distributed radial load? Where do you see these type of things? See arch only, but we are doing for arch. But where do you see this uniformly distributed loads? Radial loads. See these type of problems, where do you see? Physically,
Arch bridge. Arch bridge.
Arch bridge is okay, but in reality, sometimes you can have a load like this also. Like like this also. See in your structure analysis, you would have done like this, okay? A uniform distributed load, not a radial distributed load, you understand? So it will be something like this also. But where do you see these type of loads? Uniformly radial, like this kind of a thing. So both are different, you followed, right? This is also UDL, that is also UDL, but here the UDL is this way, but here the UDL is this way, radial kind of a thing. Where do you see these things?
In fluids or something.
Fluid. I am talking about structures. Of course, fluid is also one way. It is like a pipelines, you followed, right? When they are subjected to buried pipeline, if you take, say, so buried pipeline, what will happen? Outside, you followed it. When the pipeline is buried, what happens? You will be having pressure itself, you followed. So that is a radial, this one itself. Or what's the best example? Where do you see this type of thing?
Arch bridge, arch dam.
Arch dam also is fine. Then tunnels, you have seen, right? See tunnels, you have seen, no, many tunnels, say. So what happens? The tunnels will be perfectly, semicircular shape we have. If you go to any tunnels, say railway tunnels or the bridge tunnels itself. So you followed, right? They will carve inside a mountain itself. So for tunnels and others, you can, this formula is very very it is like you see a thumb rule actual. So if you want to just check any tunnel or any this one, say semicircular kind of a thing, so you followed it. So this formula is a very very famous formula. But of course, this formula has all kinds of limitations. The limitations is, this formula has come from Euler-Bernoulli buckling theory. Okay, So where all those assumptions say linear and other things you followed, right? So comes into picture. But anyway, this formula it works it in practice. Okay, so this is a very very famous formula. Okay, so now similarly, so now let us see fixed arch. Same problem only. So now we have this is also fixed and it's a circular arch. Okay, so so this is our central line. Somewhere we are taking it as alpha. Okay, so this is our the central line of this arch. So now the same you are having this radial line. Okay, so the load is you followed, right, Q. Okay, so uniform this radial load itself. So now you are having this type of an arch. So here also you can try for symmetric and anti-symmetric also. Suppose if you take anti-symmetric form, say. Okay, so now here also the buckling mode shape. So something like this it will be. So it goes because of the fixed say here rotation also you follow it. It has to be 0 itself. So this also this is how the buckling mode shape comes into picture here. So now here what happens is what's the difference between hinge. So now if you try to write the bending moment diagram or the bending moment, okay, so at any cross section. Now here what happens? What's the difference between the previous case and same this case? Now. So now the bending moment, say what happens? So if you take any section, okay, at an angle of 5 from your this axis, so you have the deflection. So generally this arch will have axial force. That is everywhere obvious thing. Plus because of the fixed supports, what happens is it will be subjected to this movements. It's constant movements also will be there. So some m naught also you followed, it will act on your this itself. So if you try to find out the bending on diagram, say, so it will be Q or V, which is same as the previous case, but you can easily calculate. So sine phi, say, by sine the alpha. So this is our the bending moment diagram. You see how it looks like. So now suppose when alpha is equal to, if it is a semicircular arch, say, now what will be alpha? Yeah. Suppose if it is a semicircular arch, say, we have said, right, alpha is equal to pi by 2. What is sine 90? Yeah. 1. So which means m naught into sine phi. Okay, so that is how you can calculate the bending moment diagrams and other things. I think in this analysis you would have studied, I think, when you would have done these arches, how to draw the bending moment diagrams and others. So I will not go into the details. So this is our bending moment diagram, because we have taken alpha as not as a semicircular general. So this is how the bending moment diagram looks like. So now so let us substitute in our Bosnick's equation. So d square phi by d phi square plus n square v. So you can write, so m naught into r square by ei sine alpha sine phi. Okay, so where you are of course you can write this as some c sine phi kind of a thing, where c is m naught into r square by ei sine alpha, and n remains the same like what we did in the previous this itself. Okay, so this is our the governing is the differential equation which we have. So d square v by d phi square plus n square v is equal to c sine phi. So now once you change the boundary condition, so differential equation also you followed it, homogeneous becomes you have something on the right hand side. So you have to do this particular integral, then this complementary function. I hope all of how to calculate this the particular integrals. I will not go into detail. So like if you can write the solution as v1 plus v2. So this v2 is your particular integral. So for this case you can assume like this, and you all know it, particular integral also has to satisfy our differential equation, and you can calculate all those things. So this becomes so a cos n phi plus so b sine n phi plus we have 1 by n square minus 1, the particular integral. Okay, so m naught into r square by ei times sine alpha into sine phi. Okay, so this is our final expression. So now we have to find out this the boundary conditions. Okay, so the first boundary condition, as already I told you, so at phi is equal to 0, say v is equal to 0, these are the supports. So now which means so a becomes you see 0 kind of a thing which we have. So now so v becomes so b sine n phi plus so c by n square minus 1 sine phi. So two constants are there, b and c itself, and of course if you try to take its derivative, say so d phi by d phi, this one is nothing but the slope, so bn times sorry cos n phi, so cos n phi plus c by n square minus 1 cos phi. Okay, so now you should know the two boundary conditions are required here. So we use that at phi is equal to alpha. Okay, the radial displacement is 0. So which is at the crown, assuming it to be antisymmetric mode. So radial displacement V is equal to 0. That is at the top of the crown. Suppose if it is a symmetric mode, say, so instead of writing for a V, so you write for a dV by d phi kind of a thing you can use. Okay. Now at phi is equal to alpha, say, okay, that is that is at the sorry, at phi is equal to alpha. One second. So at phi is equal to this, the 0. Okay, that is at the support points, because it is a fixed end. So dv by d phi is also equal to 0. Okay, so now you substitute. So two conditions are there. So you will have two sets of equations comes, and finally you can write them in a nice the matrix format. So sine n times alpha. So 1 by n square minus 1 sine alpha. Then n cos n times alpha. So 1 by n square minus 1 cos times alpha is equal to 0. Okay. So determinant of this matrix comes, and finally say, so you have an expression like this, the characteristic equation. So tan alpha is equal to n alpha by tan n times the alpha itself. So now so this is a transcendental equation. So now we have to solve this for variety the different angles you can calculate. And finally, so you can write our critical buckling loads as some n square minus 1 into ei by the r cube. Okay, and so this n has to be here, you have to do it numerically. Okay, so there is no closed form like previously we have done it, pi by 2 kind of a thing. So you have to do, so like for example, if alpha is 30 degrees, okay, so n becomes 8.621. So like that we have to calculate. So now when alpha is equal to 45 degrees, say, okay, so n becomes the lowest root 5.782, like that it comes into our calculations. So only thing is when alpha is equal to 90, okay, that means it is a perfect semicircular arch. Then so you can get a express, or n becomes 3 itself. So this for a semicircular arch itself. Okay, so now so you can find out, so the smallest root turns out to be n is equal to 3 itself. So if alpha is equal to pi by 2, say, even the characteristic equation itself you can write as cot n pi by 2 is equal to 0. So which means you can write all the values will come into picture. So smallest root comes for 3. So your QCR minimum. Okay, so this quantity, so this turns out to be 8 ei by r cube. So this is our QCR for a semicircular arch. Okay, so this is how we can calculate this numbers. Just one second. Hello. Hello. Tell me. No, fine, I am available. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. So this is how you see. So you get, this is for a fixed arch. So now you can compare this for the hinged versus this one. So now for semicircular arch, if it is a hinged case, say, okay. Now what is the buckling load there? Previous case, you remember what did we derive? Now for this anti-symmetric, so you can see, okay, the fixed case kind of a thing. So for semicircular arch, so your buckling load was 3ei by r cube. So now suppose if you make the supports fixed, say, like essentially as already I told you, right, in tunnels and others, if you fix both this one, so generally, so the buckling load increases, you follow, right? So 3 was there. See now so we have 8 ei by r cube. So almost it is double, or maybe 2.5, or maybe followed, right? So triple kind of a thing, you have this the buckling load. Okay, so now you can try for the symmetric modes also. So you just try, and you can find out that the symmetrical mode will give you the lower values compared to this this anti-symmetric mode. So you can try for the variety cases also, and then you can you follow it. So you can do for variety of the cases, like concentrated loads and other loads. So of course, for some type of loads, maybe you can have the symmetric mode less or anti-symmetric mode less. So you can calculate by using these boundary conditions, say. So you can get very interesting problems. So now, and of course, you can do this three-hinged arch also. You remember? So these also, I think, famous, which is, I think, statically determinate, this type of arch. So let us say these also, but here you have a hinge here. You follow? So let us say you have, so this is our central angle. Okay, so if you take this as some alpha, and let us say R here. So now, and of course, same thing. You have, the radial, this type of load. Okay. So now this is a three-hinge arch, which is a famous, in our structure analysis also we do, right, to make it statistically, determinate kind of a problem. So now what happens to this symmetrical arch? So now here also you can try, you followed, right? So if anti-symmetric, and then you can try to find out by this the symmetric mode itself. Okay. So now the symmetric loss also you can calculate. So now here so what type of the buckling failure will be there for this type of an arches? See now this three-hinged arch, say, whether it will break in symmetrical mode or anti-symmetrical mode. Now, see, this is a three-hinged arch. You followed, right? So you are having, the load, one hinge on the top also. So you have a hinge on the top. Okay. So now which format, it is going to break, say? So symmetric or anti-symmetric?
Symmetrical.
Symmetrical. So now you followed, right? So you suppose if it is anti-symmetric mode. So now what happens if it is anti-symmetric mode? So you can verify. So the anti-symmetric mode and symmetric mode also you can verify. This is an interesting problem. So anti-symmetric mode means here already you have a hinge itself. Okay. So now So how do we calculate this? So suppose if you take for symmetrical format also. Okay. The del system. The del system, no, you have to update CentOS. Update. One second. No, not the RAM. The problem is TeamViewer is not working. So now so you can verify is a symmetric and then unsymmetric, the which format which will give here. So now you can try this. Okay. So if you take symmetrical form, so you can do all the calculations. So this turns out to be QCR, say 2n2 eta by some alpha whole square minus 1. Okay. So EI by R cube. So you can solve the same differential equation here, where this parameter says. So this is nothing but the root of a transcendental equation. Okay. So you can try. Okay. So you people derive this expression itself. I'm just writing the solution. So this is our characteristic equation we have. Okay. Alpha cube, so tan eta minus eta by the eta cube. Okay, so this is our transcendental equation. So you have to solve this expression, and then you can find out this critical buckling load. Now here what happens for this type of this three-hinged arch, say. So you can try, suppose if it is anti-symmetric format, so you can verify yourself. Suppose if it fails by anti-symmetric mode, say. So the critical load will be exactly same as a two-hinged arch itself. Okay, so you can calculate. So because at the hinge end, say what we are assuming is you followed, right? The V is 0. You can calculate. So automatically it happens same as this itself. Now so now because it is and the bending moment also will be 0 itself. So you can just try. So finally for symmetrical modes, so you will get the numbers like this. And if you try to calculate, say, for some angles, so if it is alpha is equal to 90 degrees. Okay. So this three-hinged arch, say. So this load will be so this quantity This they give in terms of a parameter. So this NCR also you can write. So this is QCR into R. So you can write this as K EI by the R square. So one can show that when alpha is equal to 90, so this K becomes 3 itself. Okay, so one can verify also. So you people try for this the arch itself. So this way you can solve variety the interesting problems for concentrated loads or UDL, like other UDL also you can solve here. So now this is one Bosnick equation which is a very simple, and it is a a thumb rule kind of a thing we use in the first cut approximation to solve these type of problems itself. So now let us see this Lamb's equation. So general curvilinear, you can incorporate some more, the complications also into our analysis. Okay. So the equations will be like this. So for the this curvilinear thing. Okay. So let us derive our equations of equilibrium. Yes. Okay. So let us derive equations for this curvilinear rod. Okay. Okay. So the Lamb's equation essentially. Okay. So now for the Lamb's equation, say, so if you take any, so this is a derivation. So if you take any rod, okay, so which is a curvilinear, something like this type of a curve you have. Let us say, so if you try to draw a tangent here. So let us say this angle is, so d phi. If you take a small element. Okay, so if it is angle is this one, so if it is O here, and now when so this is our rod, let us say it is subjected to all type of loads. Tangential load also is there, then it is also subjected to this type of the radial load also, which is this one. Then it is also subjected to movements also. Okay, all type of things are there. So now if you try to find out, so here so the internal forces, if you see, so because all type of loads are there, right? So internal forces you will be having, you see, N, that is axial force will be there. Then you have M is there. Then you have the shear force. Okay, the Q also will be there. Then we have the Q plus. So this side also, if you try to draw Q plus DQ, then so N plus DN. Then here the movements is M plus DM here. Okay. So all complications we are incorporating, and let us say my x-axis is like this, and my y-axis is along this direction. Okay, so now so we were trying to derive the differential equations of equilibrium here. So now these are the loads. So so Q, so P, then we have this M itself. Okay. 1 second. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, I'm sorry. So these are the three loads are there, So we have this Q is anyway, the radial load. Okay, this P is a tangential load. Okay, so this is your movement intensity also. Okay, so we have this movement load also. So this is a complicated. All loads are acting here. Okay, so the radial load intensities are there. They are all defined per unit length kind of a thing. Okay, so now so this is a N is anyway the axial force. Okay, and of course this is your shear. Okay, in that small element, and you have this is anyway your bending moment. So this equation is same as what we do it in your Euler-Bernoulli or in your B. This one say we take a small section, you remember. So this is a section. Suppose if this is an arbitrary load, we write PQ, Q plus DQ. You followed. So M plus DM. All kinds of things we write. So now the only thing is now it is not straight. It is basically in this type of it is slightly curved actually. Okay. So now you can see the x-axis is along the length of this one, and y is here. If I take the axis like this, so now if I try to find out the summation of all forces, okay, that is sigma fx is equal to 0 if you try to do here. So now here you are having n, so n is in the x direction, so you can calculate, but now n plus dn also will have a component in x direction. So for that you have to find out n plus dn into cos of d phi. So this angle is d phi, so then you can have this angle set. Similarly q will be there, then q plus dq. So q will not have any component in x direction, but q plus dq, so because of this angle d times phi, it will have a component in this x direction itself, and you will be having this tangential load which is in this direction also. So if you try to calculate, so this becomes so n minus so n plus dn into cos of d phi, okay, plus q plus dq, okay, sine d phi, okay, minus p times ds. So this is equal to 0, where p is your tangential load itself. So now assuming that d phi is a very small cell, okay. So now you can replace cos d phi with 1 and sine d phi with phi itself. So you can write this expression as in a nice format. So dn by ds minus so q by p, sorry, q by rho. So rho is your the radius of curvature, minus p is equal to 0. So where rho is radius of curvature. Okay. So this is our first equation, which we have actually. Okay, so for our this one, now similarly say you put sigma the forces in y direction, so this also is equal to 0. So now here the only problem is it is slightly curved. So now y is along this direction, okay, it is not along q. So now in this direction, say, so q plus dq also will be there. So you have to take care about this the angles itself. So if you try to write all those quantities here, okay, so this becomes so q minus so q plus dq, say, multiplied by the cos of d phi minus n plus dn. So this also will have a component, so sine of d phi, okay, minus q into ds. Okay, so you have this radial load also into cos of so d phi by 2 is equal to 0. So this also will come into picture, and then you write all the neglecting small terms, and cos d phi is equal to 1 and sine d phi is equal to d phi itself. So finally you can write this expression as so dq by ds plus n by rho plus q. So this is equal to 0. The second equation comes like this. Now similarly the third one says, so if you take the sum of the moments, okay, the moment equilibrium also for this curved element, okay, so moments about a point, say, okay, about this origin you followed, right? So if you take this point the O, so O is your this place, okay, so that is so this is our so this place, if you take movement about this point, say, okay, so if you write all the components here, so you have to resolve carefully, and if you do all the things, so sigma m naught, okay, so this sigma m naught is 0. Now 1 second. So sigma m naught, say, so this is equal to 0, so which means minus m plus m plus dm minus capital Q ds by 2 minus q plus dq, okay, into ds by 2, okay. So minus q into ds, and you have this centroidal, this itself, plus m into ds. So we are having, you see, the moments also, okay. So a small m into ds, so this is equal to 0, where psi, say, this is nothing but, the distance. So from the resultant load, okay. So from the resultant load q, okay, on the element, okay. So ds to point the O. Okay, so now finally, you see, so you neglect higher order terms and then the small, infinitely small quantities, say. So if you neglect this one after doing all the simplification, so you will get, you see, so dm by, you see, ds minus q plus this small m, say, is equal to 0 itself. So these are our, the three equations we will get: one in x direction, one in y direction, and then, you see, the moment equilibrium for a general, the curvilinear element itself. So now, so if you suppose if it is a, if you assume only, radial load only is there, okay, all other loads are 0, say. So that means, your small m and p tangential load, all of them are 0 0 kind of a thing. So then, you can write nicely. So dn, the first equation becomes, dn by d phi is equal to capital Q. The second equation, say, so dq by, d phi is equal to minus n minus, q times r. The third equation says, so this anyway m is equal to 0, so automatically, so your dm by d phi, okay, is equal to q times, you see, r itself. So these are, the three equations, we get from, for a only radial load. So these are, for curvilinear rods, say, okay. So when there is only radial load, so three equations comes into picture. Suppose if you have, tangential load, then this moment intensity is also, say. So those old equations also, can be used. So these equations are generally, sometimes, has been Kirchhoff's equations also. Okay, so these equations, he has also Kirchhoff, because he derived for, this type of loading, and assuming it to be a circular bar also. Okay, and if it is a circular, say, so then, so if it is a circular case, so you can write, so m is equal to p is equal to 0, and rho is equal to, capital R itself you can write, and you can write, ds is equal to, r into d phi. So these also can be written. So Kirchhoff, he derived, these equations of equilibrium for a circular bar under this load. But if it is a general curvilinear element, say, so where, it is not a circle, it may be parabolic or something like that. So then you have to use these equations, which are slightly, complex. So rho is here, then this is the first set, this is the second set, and this is our third set of equations from the moment equilibrium. Now you can compare these equations with our, the ordinary, in Euler-Bernoulli beam theory also. Okay, so you all know, right, derivative of bending moment is equal to shear force, so dm by ds r d phi 7, r becomes, this it's, so this ds becomes L itself, so dl kind of a thing. So more or less they converge to our Euler-Bernoulli beam equations also, which you have studied in your undergraduate. So now here, so finally, so if you mix all these equations, say, so you substitute q here, then whatever q you have, say, substitute here also. You can do play with, many cases here. So you can differentiate, you can do some algebra here, 1.2, you can these two equations, okay, this equation, then this equation, say, okay. So you eliminate some terms, so you can do. So the first equation, okay, so if we write this as, the equation 1, this is equation 2, then this is equation 3 for circular bar, say, okay. So if you differentiate, so if you differentiate this equation 2, say, by 5, and then, use the equation 1 itself, okay, to make the corrections, then we can see that, so you get a nice equation, you see, d square q by d phi square plus q is equal to 0. So you can get a equation also, like this itself. So now we can do several ways, like you can combine q here and then you do all the calculations, you can also try. Okay, so suppose finally you substitute here and then all the, so if you are having a rod, say, okay, so if you are having a rod with circular shape, okay, with circular shape, that means rho is equal to r is a constant kind of a thing you have. So now you can if you p m all if you can neglect, so now this q you can substitute in this equation also, you can write in one go. Okay, a big equation can be written up. So this you can write it as so this for a circular rod, say, so r you can substitute in terms of bending moment itself. So dm cube by ds cube plus 1 by r, so dm by ds. So if you have tangential load, you can add this p itself, otherwise it will be 0. So dq, okay, so this is our radial load plus r into so d square m by ds square. So this is your moment load, okay, minus so m by r is equal to 0. So you can write, you can combine these three equations into one equation, and you can write in terms of one equation for bending moment itself. And if you can write ds is equal to r times d phi, okay, so you can write as so d cube m by d phi cube plus dm by d phi, okay, is equal to r square. So this is p, that's a tangential load, so d cube by d phi, okay, so plus so capital R into m minus d square m by d phi square. Okay, so you can derive the same equations, only you are writing everything in terms of bending moment itself. So this way we can write. So now I will stop here. So next class we will see these equations in great detail, and then how to write these equations in terms of displacements. Okay, so that we will discuss in our next class. Okay, so I will stop here now. See, another here, I just wanted to mention that generally when it comes to this buckling of the arches, not many textbooks deal with this type of these arch problems. So what I will do is, there is one Russian textbook is there, okay, which is in Springer. It is in English only. So I will forward that textbook in the WhatsApp group. Okay, so you please see the textbook. Of course, the textbook is on full arches. Okay, not only on buckling. They do